Hi. So again, congrats for all of you guys on the call. The call a little different because and I didn't check everyone. I hope I don't have to. Can I get a thumbs up? Did everybody, if you didn't, it's okay. Like I know you guys already work a lot. So, but did everybody send an email with the homework that we talked about? Thumbs up? No? Okay.
Since last Sunday.
Okay. Can anybody raise digital hand if you did not send it for any reason? It doesn't matter. It's all good. I just want to be aware so that, okay. Matt, what office are you in?
Tracy's.
Okay. Well, Tracy will have the combo. He's already gonna beat you up. Jacob, you didn't send it?
I sent it last Sunday.
Okay, so you did send it. Okay. Hey guys, so first of all, we got some quick shout outs here. Quick congratulations. I think we have 2, if not 3 people on this call last week got promoted to assistant management. Mr. Anthony and Mr. Jacob out in Riverside, California, Riverside, and very excited that they're opening their businesses in Colorado. Did you guys already send your incorporation papers, Jacob? Did you pick your 3 names?
I know the names that I have in mind. I have not sent the incorporation papers in yet.
Okay, make sure you guys do that here. Give me 1 second, as a matter of fact. Where's Wade? Is Wade okay?
He just got back today from visiting his mother in Nebraska.
Give me a second.
He's doing fine.
So quiet.
Rashad.
Okay, so anyway, you guys need to make sure you send tomorrow. You get your 3 names and you send your paperwork in. If Wade's not there for whatever reason, you call Tommy and Tommy will help you send it. It's just a paper, but it has to be right away, Mr. Marcus. You're echoing a little bit. So anyway, you guys took some time to, so again, congrats, by the way. Jacob and Anthony in Riverside on Wade's office got promoted to run Denver. Very exciting because you're gonna be in the snow, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of snow, and in the winter, and we've had an office out there crushing it. So very excited for you guys. I know there's more promotions to come. My boy Steve out there in Dallas wants to get promoted. He told me one day. Magali and Matt with Alante. I know a lot of Tracy's guys. Sharon is also close to getting promoted. Mr. Flores is about to bounce last week in Dallas. He's bouncing off to Riverside as well. So very excited about that in general. So anyway, all of you guys had culture ideas and things that you came up with. So I definitely, obviously, again, have more work to give you and more things to talk about. But I wanted to open it up for you guys, as you guys are all future owners in the team. Hey, what did you guys learn? Anybody want to tell me, hey, what did you learn trying to create this standard with your team? I'm sure you had some conversations. You probably talked to your upline. Tell me a little bit. If you guys want to maybe raise your hand, I would love for you guys to share a little bit your story on anything you learned by doing these conversations, or anything you discovered, or anything that you've seen already some results of just creating some standards. Miss Emma, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, it was really fun because it wasn't like I came up with the idea. It was more like, hey, let's all us leaders sit down together and talk about why it's important to have something to stand for. And then I just let them decide. It wasn't like I told them, hey, let's make sure that we're doing this. It was more like all of them were in agreement and they all kind of pitched in and all were on the same page just because of the vision that was casted beforehand. And then now it's like, I don't have to do anything. It's like all the leaders are holding each other accountable to that standard that they decided together. So it's not like I'm their boss. It's more like, hey, we're a leadership team. and you guys all decided that we're going to be the earliest people to the office, we're going to be the welcoming hands, all this stuff. So then as soon as one of the other leaders doesn't do it, immediately the other leaders are like, hey man, like what's up? So I think that's super cool, and it was kind of like just like alleviates so much pressure as like you as a leader running your team.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. And I forgot to do this, but because I definitely don't remember everybody. So if you, whenever you speak, take maybe, John, you're going up next, take maybe 1 minute, maybe minute and a half. But if you can introduce your, sometimes people have different names on Zoom. So if you can introduce your first and last name, and then your, whoever is your upline manager, so that we can kind of know you, and then go ahead and share a little bit what you've learned, what's currently going on in the team with it, and if you learned anything by trying to start a culture and create it. Go ahead, John.
So yeah, my name is John Porto. I'm out of Danny's office out in Raleigh, and I have a team of 4 leaders currently. And I quickly realized over like the past week or two that we were kind of failing in like the communication side with not only like with me as their upline, but with like my uplines as well, and then with each other. I started doing calls with them like on Saturdays and kind of just going over like, hey, look, like what can we do to get better? And I kind of grabbed everybody's feedback, and it came down to this just about the same thing, as being having more communication with each other and a lot more unity, being on the same page as one another, and um actually just like liking each other rather than kind of just staying away from each other once in the office, just becoming more unified. So and then once we kind of did that, like I mean, today was our first day after like really back after implementing it, and my team did more sales today than they probably have like in the last like in any other days passing. So immediately I'm already seeing immense growth, immense like chat engagement with not only the entire office but with the team itself, and then just overall like them just getting better at what they're currently doing.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. John. Thanks for sharing. Okay, Miss Melanie, you want to go?
Yes, yes. So my name is Melanie Rivas. My promoting, oh, not yet. But my upline is Miss Nicole Lindahl in Chicago. And I really learned with, getting everyone together and setting off as like a conversation onto what our standard was as a team. It transitioned into more like an open conversation with a lot of self-reflection, not just as a team, but for myself as well. And, really getting to know what they think we can improve on, not just of what I can see with them, but with me as well. So I was also able to, kind of being able to network about what I need to improve on, whether it's just, I kind of give like tough love. I think I get that from my upline, but some people under my team, they don't necessarily click with tough love. And that's something that I'm learning to this day.
Have you read Wired That Way?
No, I have not.
And you said you're in Tracy's office?
No, Nicole.
Sorry, Nicole's office.
Mhm.
Dude, you need to read Wired That Way. Like, absolutely, some people love tough love and some people don't, and you're gonna have people of both kinds. So you need to make sure you treat them like they want to be treated, instead of, it's a book, it's going to change your life. Wired That Way by Marita Latower. Weird name, great author though.
Awesome. Thank you.
Danny, you're entering like the room twice. I noticed. Drive safe. Slutsky.
Yes. Just sat down with my top leader and decided really to focus on urgency, because I've always been about urgency. And then 2 weeks ago, the week we submitted the homework, the team had like 70 or had like 81 sales that week, which is the highest we've done so far. And then this last week, it was like 96. So that was even better. And then this week, hopefully it'll be even more. So just really focusing on that urgency, like first to the field, super intense. It's working.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Matt. Miss Miriam.
Sorry, technical difficulties. So I'm actually learning by just hearing everyone else's input that I could have definitely done taken more of a conversational approach to the meeting. Definitely have that in my notes to be a lot better at. I definitely realized how impactful and how much easier it is to just really align your goals with your upline and then make those your goals. And you can kind of just use your upline to reinforce it. My team was something I really was trying to enforce with my team was just being the most, my name is Miriam. I am out of Danny's office in Raleigh. I have 15 leaders on my crew. Sharon's mastermind is under me as well, along with Porto. Oops. But yes, I was using one of Danny's goals, being the most aggressive about your growth. I put that into just encouraging everyone to ask to be in the room whenever they were like not technically qualified to be there, or ask how they could cheat a little bit and get extra qualifications to get in there. Also just being the most extra miling. My team, we definitely didn't do the best last week, but I did realize a lot of our sales did come from the extra miling portion of it. So that was enforced, but I definitely feel like it could have been more impacted and received if I were to make it more of a conversational tone. So I'm definitely throwing that away. So thank you guys.
Okay, Miss Miriam, thank you so much. And then Magali, te echo de menos.
I'm sorry.
I miss you.
I miss you guys too. A lot. But hi everybody. My name is Magali Rojas. I'm from Alante's office. So I first sat down with one of my top leaders. I don't know if you met Jamari. She just got to level 2 today. To talk about like what we wanted the vision for like our team to be. And then we sat down with our entire team and we came up with accountability. And the best way to do that was being the team that honors like the partnership, like the 8 core steps. Just because I have, there's people that are in different like levels, some people that are fairly new leaders, some people that have been here for a minute, and even myself. And I know sometimes we like overcomplicate things, but I think at any point, like if you're just following the 8 core steps and doing everything, honoring the partnership, like things start to click and we become more focused and we actually can like reach goals. So that was one of the our goals and like vision just for our team. And then the other one I got from what you said last time from Danny's office, having people from our team every single week doing Sunday Savage. So we always have somebody. And then Jamari, she actually, this last 2 weekends she pushed for level 2, but before that she was like constantly also going out for Sunday Savage, and we were out there just helping people like, support, kind of being there for them, and then showing them like that the extra push does like, it propels your results and your growth. So those were like 2 main things that we talked about.
Sounds good, Magali. Really proud of you. If you don't get promoted, I'm gonna quit. So
Don't quit.
okay, we'll get promoted. I think that's
Please,
Okay,
please. Please.
thank
Okay.
you.
Yes, we believe in you. Okay, great, guys. So here is the next step of this future owners activity. Okay, hopefully you got some pen and paper to take notes. If you're driving, stop the car, pull over. Mr. Flores, they're crashing the car. That'd be funny. So, okay, so dude, by the way, great job. Congratulations, Magali. You can raise your hand down or put it down if you want, your digital hand. Good job. Okay. So remember, what we're doing here is we're building a culture. We're building a culture for, this is what running an office is. Like running an office, you're going to have all these day-to-day things. Like there's owners that run offices and they never grow, dude, because all they're doing is like the stuff to do. You know what I mean? Like they go in the field, they prepare car rides, they do territory, they do stores, and then they do sales, and then they talk to their people in the morning and at night, and that's it. You know what I mean? And like, I'm telling you, as much as you might not know, I promise you, dude, there are people. What is it? Somebody tell me, what is it other than the field? Okay. So when you see your owner, what is it that they do all day? If you had to say one thing that they do all day, if it's not the field, when the guys are gone, what is the one thing that the owner's doing?
Talk on the phone.
You said what, Jacob?
Talk on the phone.
To who? What do you mean?
Just a lot of phone calls, a lot of networking, like whether it's within other managers or maybe even just reaching out to the team. Just a lot of phone calls with them.
They definitely do a lot of phone calls, but no, there's one thing that they do very heavily, intensely. It's not more than that. Michelle.
One thing I've seen Tracy do often is do Zoom interviews.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I was thinking you were going to say something weird. Yes, recruiting. It's called recruiting. The one thing that every owner does is recruit the crap out of their day. Okay. Even in Dallas, for the Dallas people, do you guys realize we have supposedly starting 10 to 20 people a week, every single week? But does the office not have the same amount of headcount than 2 months ago? Isn't that kind of funny? Like Steve, you left with Tyler. You guys have been hiring 10 people a week for 10 weeks straight, right? But there's only about there's more people than when you guys left, but only about like 10 more, right? Like, but we've hired 10 people a week for 9 weeks. That's 90 people. We only have 10 plus. So recruiting is the activity that you're going to be doing the most, is recruiting. So what that means is there's always new people, right? Like the opportunity meeting you ran 2 weeks ago, nobody remembers. Owners forget this. So anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is you guys don't want to run into the trap of there's new owners, dude, that a year will go by. A year will go by. They've been recruiting all day. Some owners, they even use that as an excuse to not be in the field. They recruit all day, every day, 5 days a week, 4, 5, 6 interviews, time slots. And by the end of the year, they have the same amount of leaders. Do you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine doing, like, if you guys would go to the gym every day of the year, 5 days a week, and you round up with the same weight after a year, like, wouldn't you be pissed? You'd be so pissed. If you're practicing anything, let's say you're, hey, dating somebody, and after a year, you're in the same spot, you'd be pissed, right? If you practice so hard, something. So, dude, that's why the business is so difficult. But here's the missing piece, bro, which is why I'm not talking to you guys about your sales or your recruiting. You guys can do that with your owner. Please sell and recruit. Like, it isn't that hard. If you guys got into this call, it means you can do it at least a little bit. And just do it a little more. Okay. The biggest difference I see is the owners that really don't focus at all. This is why Danny's so good. It's why Tracy's so good. Wade is fantastic at this, like creating a culture of where people just want to be in, like people just want to be there, non-mandatory. So, and I want you guys in R&R, for those of you guys that go to R&R, focus on this. Find owners and you'll tell who's got a culture and who's not. It's the people that don't. There's going to be owners that you talk to and they're going to be like, I'm an owner, I run the market and whatever. And you internally, you're going to be a little surprised because you'll be like, really? Like, I haven't seen freaking anyone come up to you and ask you a question. Hey, per se, mate, there might be a new owner, but you'll see that people that have cultures, people go up to them. They go up to them, they ask questions because they know they're known by people because they spent extra time. Does that make sense? So sales, recruiting, like the biggest reason you guys, what I want you guys to practice within your office, because when people leave my office, it's a big shock because we have a huge culture. So now you have to leave and do your own. And it's hard because our culture is very strong. But you got to be good at that. It's not hard. So anyway, biggest difference with owners that grow and owners that really don't, and they're like spinning their wheels as an owner. You don't want to be an owner that's spinning your wheels, like making the same money, losing money, making money, losing money, making money, is because they only do what's required. They're basically an employee of their own business. So they do, the sales in the morning, they're hyped up, announcements, they do all the interviews, they work 10 hours a day, they do PM breakdowns, and then on Sunday, they totally tune off. And then it's like they use it like a job. Does that make sense? You got to create a culture of winning. I want you guys to read books like Relentless by Tim Grover, like books by Coach K. Like, figure out environments, teams that create cultures. And culture, I would describe it as, for this business, is anything that's not mandatory. So you have to be good at spending time outside of all that we work already. And also outside of the office, outside of the four walls of the office. If you're doing a dinner at night, but you're eating it at the office, it's not going to count because in the person's mind, you're still at work. That makes sense? That's why I think it was Sharon. Somebody asked me like, hey, can we use the office for a team night? I'm like, no. And it's not that I don't trust them. It's just like, people are still going to be in the mindset of work. And they're going to be somehow mindset of work versus you don't want that. You want people to be extremely volunteer. So anyway, how to create a culture. Here's what we're going to do. So you guys have already decided what you want to be good at. You might, if you're anything normal, because a lot of you guys are, you got a lot of words. Your culture really hasn't even started. It took me 6 months to really get good at this culture. I had to adjust it here and there. So you guys all created your standards. Okay. So here's my homework. And this next call is going to be in 3 weeks because we have Punta Cana in the middle. So, I want you guys to get a printout, okay? Ask your manager to help you print it, put a logo on it. I would put the logo of the office on it. Even ask if you can put it on the wall, maybe not on the wall, but you should like laminate it, make it pretty. And you should have like your standards, like, hey, what does winning look like? We are known for Sunday Savages. We are known for this. And you introduce this to your leaders or to the people in your team. Start creating like a culture. Now we're going to laminate the culture. We're going to make it physical. Like, does that make sense? That's the first thing I want you guys to do is hey, put it on a paper, create some sort of like the standards that they're on a paper so you can also kind of hand it out. And maybe you could put a little bit your vision here or your who you are, not to use as the handouts, but just paper, like solidify your culture a little bit. Does that make sense? That's piece of 1 of homework. Number 2 is I need you guys to keep announcing it. Like you guys have done maybe 1 meeting with your team about what do you want to be known for, right? Everybody, yes, that you did at least 1 meeting. Okay, so now I want you guys to start getting people in your team to start doing the announcements for that, not you. Like, hey, if you're in team royalty, remember, let your owner, they'll let you do this announcement. Hey, if you're on John's team, make sure you're meeting us on break to do standards for the field or whatever it is, the culture, whatever it is that you actually are known for. Hey, if you're on Matthew's team, hey, here, meet real quick, start creating. And I want somebody else that's on your team to announce it for you and not you. So I want you guys to work on, put it out on paper, putting it on paper, number 1. Number 2, I want every day has to be voiced. Every day, daily voices of your culture standards, culture meetings, team nights, team events. It doesn't have to be the same thing every day, but every day announced by not you. Hey, you can jump in and rehash what someone says, but you want to put yourself to build a culture. You want to put yourself in a position that somebody else is the speaker and you are just a person applauding like, yep, that's it. Does that make sense? And this might sound weird. Okay. Read Speed of Unity. I haven't told you guys to read that book. If you haven't read it, read it again. If you haven't read it, read it. If you've read it, I would read it again. Speed of Unity by Rob Ketterling. Okay. So that's number 2. I'm trying to break it down into pieces. Hopefully you guys are not being robots. Okay. Think outside the box. What do I got to do? How can I get better at this? Okay. And again, it puts you in a position to be humble. Make sure other people are announcing it, but make sure you're staying humble. Okay. And then 2 more things, but the most important one, I want you guys to create 2 different weekly events. So by the time we talk on the next call, you should have had already 3 different events, 1 in the morning and 1 team night activity. And I don't want you to only do it for your team, but I want your team to start it. For example, I'll give you an example. Please don't copy me exactly. Okay. My schedule was different when I was in the field. When I started creating my culture, what I did is I had Friday, 7 a.m. at the Dunkin' Donuts next to the office. And I would get coffee. And I never forced it. I said, if anybody wants to chill, I did. I didn't force it. I asked one of my leaders, dude, you want to meet on Friday morning for coffee? They're like, yeah. And then from 1 and 1 to 2 and 1 to 3, I didn't force it. I'm not asking you guys to create this huge thing at 7 a.m. Make it organic. If only one person shows up, one person shows up. You know, be careful sometimes. Side note, be careful sometimes building a culture. You might get discouraged because only one person shows up to your volunteer thing. Has anybody ever had that happen? I know it's happened to me. Be careful, right? Think about it if you were a pastor. If you were a pastor, you had 100 sheep. 100 sheep supposed to follow you. And you're, blowing your whistle like a pastor. And only one sheep follows you. Would you not treat it really good? It's the only sheep that went with you, right? Would you ignore it? Wow, it's only one. Or would you actually make that sheep the best example of the world? So, don't treat people like sheep, but you see what I mean? Okay, so if one person goes, don't get discouraged. Focus all your energy on that person versus focusing on the energy on the person that's not there. It's like if you're in the middle of the atmosphere and you're texting somebody that's not there versus focusing on the people that are there, it's stupid. I understand it's human nature. I've done it too, but it's stupid. It's not good. You got to be good at disciplining yourself. So anyway, I want you to create a morning meeting. Morning, it has to be before the office. So it's going to be really early. And the reason I want it super early, the reason I did it super early, you don't have to do it that early. You can do it at Saturday where maybe it's a little bit before the meeting. I did it at 7 a.m. because I wanted people, even 6:45, I wanted people to really be volunteer. People don't show up. If you do a team night, a lot of people are going to show up, right? But if you do a meeting at 7 a.m., it's going to be the real ones that go to that. And maybe, look, Miriam, you have people on different teams here. So maybe you guys separate, Miriam, you should do everybody that's outside of John's team and outside of Sharon's team. You get that group. And Sharon, you do your group, and John, you do your group. Something like that, where you guys can all practice it. Same with Anthony and Jacob. But anyway, first, I want you to create a weekly meeting where I'm like, hey, dude, I'm going to be at the Dunkin' Donuts at 7 a.m. if anybody wants to chat. And I'm going to grab a coffee, bring my book. And if nobody shows up, nobody shows up. But if one person shows up, that's the person I'm making them do the announcements. That's the person I'm telling them, help me build this. Help me, help me, help me. That's what Danny did with me. He helped me build the culture because I was just the orchestrator and he was the voice, and we built it. And the minute you realized I had 5 guys just like Danny, and that's it. And then we had 20 owners start, and then I got to NC. So create a morning meeting, create a culture around it. Don't force people to go, and offer your time. I started this meeting at 7 a.m. and after a month and a half, it went from 1 person to 25. I remember the day that I didn't go to the meeting. I didn't show up at 7 because I had to go do something with my owner, Chang, but there were still 20 people showing up there, networking, talking about book club, just being positive. I want you to create it. Your owner can't do this. You have to do it. Number 2, I want you to establish a weekly team night. I'm sure you guys do weekly team nights, but you guys need to create, especially now summer months are coming. It's the best weather in the year. Hey, create a weekly team night. You can announce it, or you can, if you have a lot of confidence in your team, you can have someone announce it, and you can say it's your team night, but I would invite everyone. I want my owner to come to my team night, my upline owner, and be impressed how many people I pulled to the entire office. I'm coming up with it. Me and my team, if I'm Matthew and I got 6 leaders or 5 leaders, me and my 5 leaders, we're going to talk about what team night to organize, not because of what we want. Like maybe Matthew loves shooting guns. We're not going to go to a shooting range. We're going to organize, what do you think will bring the most people? I might even spend $20. Hey, don't be afraid of spending some money. You guys should all have decent money. Don't be afraid of spending $50 on grabbing some ice and ice chest and some waters and Gatorades and throwing a volleyball game. Spend some money. It's okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not going to bite you. And it's, yes, your money. You should not be asking for a reimbursement on this. Again, you're creating a culture. You're investing in your future. Not saying you need to spend money, but you can. Okay. So anyway, 2 meetings. A morning one where it's more business. It's more relaxed, more coffee based. And then I want you to have a weekly team night every week. You can put it on the same day. You can change it. You can do the same team night every week. But I want you to create a team night and I want you to see how you start building it. Okay. Everybody got me so far? I know I'm expanding on each bullet point. Last thing. I want you to tell your owner to put you on a group chat, create a group chat for photos. Because this is the same group chat you're going to take to your office. Create a group chat for photos and videos. Again, talk to your leaders. These are all conversations you're having with your team. Don't expect your owner to do it. Create a group chat. Put all your leaders on WhatsApp. You can tune the notifications off or the pictures so they don't save to your phone. And tell your owner to add on the group chat the guy that does social media. And just start. And again, if you got a good person on your team that you know is good at posting, you know, everybody got that TikToker or that good person at posting, and start posting at least 2 pictures / videos. Videos are great. 2 to 3 pictures of the environment, of the culture, of your culture. And start blowing up the guy that posts to social media. Every day he's receiving at least 2 posts from you. You can either assign this to one of your guys, or you can all be a team and every day each person posts 1 photo or video. You realize the laminated sheet, the photos, the team night and team early session. It's a lot of extra work. It's 4 things. But this is what we're doing, is solidifying the culture and making it, now I can feel it. I can touch it. Does that make sense? And we're going to advance this. We're going to get deep into this and we're going to, you know, break it all into pieces. When you start adding books, development, book club, when leaders that can lead leaders, right? There's leaders that have followers, and then you guys have leaders that can lead other leaders. When you start getting leaders, like I got Danny, and you imagine having a Danny on your team, all of you guys that are on Danny's team, can you imagine Danny being on your crew? I was excited, right? John, you imagine like Danny's your leader. You imagine how easy it was for me? I just did a lot of work until I could qualify to have Danny on my team. That makes sense? Until I got lucky. But now when you start having Danny's on your crew, and you will, and you might have him right now. Like when Danny was in my crew, nobody thought, like, me and Danny were not thinking like, wow, he's going to be an owner, and in less than a year, he's going to have 6 people on a future owner's call. We didn't think that. Danny and I were just thinking, see if we make it till Sunday and we do more sales than last week. Literally, that's what we were thinking. So, but you might have a Danny on your team, and me and Danny were focused on building the culture, man. Him and I, boom, books, Sundays, 1 at a time, doing meetings. People would get pissed. People would get jealous. So, group chat, meeting in the morning, team night at night, weekly for those 2 things. Standardize, laminate your standards, and start getting people to talk about for you every day. The culture is built daily by voice and weekly by meeting. Does that make sense? Questions? Dude, I'm super jacked for you guys. And look, the goal is to recruit as many people into my culture. Somebody from another team, please don't have like the sense of you're nobody here. Neither am I. Nobody's nobody here. Please don't have this sense of like, that person's not on my team. If somebody in your downline is like, well, but that guy's not in our team, should we invite him? Like, don't be an idiot. This is not, it's never about you. It was never about you and your team to begin with. Oh, but they're not on team royalty. There ain't no team royalty. This is building a culture. And then the point is you can do it anywhere. So please don't be anal with, well, that person's not on my team. That person, it doesn't matter. The team is just an excuse for people that are not bought in yet to get to know you. And when they get to know you, they stay because they know you and they realize that you're awesome and that you go way above and beyond, and they'll never have a boss or a leader that cares more. It's all an excuse for that. Does that make sense? Please don't get confused with the team part. Don't get in your head about the ego or my team has this or less. No. Cool. Sharon.
Yes, I was gonna ask. So how are we submitting this to you? That way you keep you
I'm gonna
can,
get to you. I'm gonna get to that. Questions about the stuff.
Oh.
For shot.
Hey Richard, I'm from Tracy's office, and usually I'll be the ones planning the team nights for our office and everything. I just wanted to know like what are the do's and the don'ts. I don't want to, you know, take us somewhere we're not supposed to be. We're like not where we're not supposed to be, but like somewhere that wouldn't be a good environment to bring a team. Like I just want to know like what's the do's.
Anywhere where they serve alcohol is not a good place.
Uh-huh.
Like, look, I used to take people to Texas Life where they do serve alcohol, but it's more of an environment of cornhole. We were outside and I was not drinking alcohol. Or if I was, I would get a beer and I would make it really clear, like, hey, don't. So anyway, I would just try to avoid that. Try to avoid places of alcohol or loud music. It's not a club. I'm trying to create a culture around me. I'm trying to create a group of mastermind. Again, maybe you guys should read yourselves, like read about the best people that have created the biggest cultures. Read about Kobe Bryant, why people wanted to be a part of Kobe Bryant's team. Read about Coach K. Read about great athletes that created great cultures and why. And it's typically because they had standards, but they also had grace. And so, yeah, stay away from spending tons of money, stay away from alcohol, stay away from places of lines. I would try not to be in a place where I have to be separated in 32 tables because it's so small. Maybe outdoors now that there's time. Hey, volleyball stuff, things like that always work because it's game, it's team oriented. So here's how you submit it. The next call, Sharon, is going to be not the 24th because I'm going to be gone. Or I think that'll be right back, but that'll be 2 weeks. We'll be right back from Punta Cana. So the next call will be in 3 weeks. It'll be May 1st, which I think, Mr. Flores, that'll be the day that you start your office. So you won't have to join unless you want to, of course. You'll be busy. Your first day of sales, you'll be busy. May 1st. So you guys have 3 weeks. There's no hard homework. The only hard homework, please, is add my admin, Jamie, so she collects all the emails. Don't just send the email to me and your upline. Please include Jamie, my admin. If you don't have her email, find it. And I would love for you guys to tell me maybe by April 30th, if you want to put a reminder the day before, April 30th, Sunday, before end of the day. Hey, dude, you should have at least 1 or 2 team nights. Maybe the week of R&R is weird, but you should have 1 or 2 team nights or 3. You should have 3 of the morning things done, of the morning atmospheres done. You should have tons of pictures on your group chat with that person. You should have laminated stuff. You should have a little bit of how this is going. You should have at least 1 announcement a day by some downline about your culture. Like you should have some things going. So I just want to tell me, you send me an email. Hey, what you've learned, what you've done, maybe how much the team has grown. Maybe you've seen people utilize the environment you created to grow their own team. They're using what you're doing. This is awesome, right? Like be observant of your impact that you're creating. At the same time, stay humble. Send me a reflection on what you're learning. And we're going to keep diving into how to build a culture. In the meantime, you have to stay doing sales. You have to stay doing recruiting and yada, yada, yada. Not any different than somebody that goes and fills out a spreadsheet 9 to 5 for 50 years. We're trying to do sales and recruiting for 1 or 2. Then we run an office for 10 to 15. And then we make triple the money and then we do whatever we want. And we work half the time. So that's why culture, I think it's a big deal. It's super under talked, very important. So hopefully that's cool. And yeah, again, thanks for being on late. Thanks for being so entrepreneurial. I can't wait for you guys to open offices. And I hope by the time we met in 3 weeks, maybe some of you guys are moving on to assistant manager. Super excited about that. So yeah, other than that, talk to you guys soon. Please text me, call me throughout the next 3 weeks. If you have questions, if you want to give me an update on how it's going, I'd love to hear. And I love you guys.
Love you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Love you, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Bye-bye.
Reggie Reg.
Reggie Reg.